dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYNT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a southern Kentucky man says he did in fact shoot and kill a man and attack 2 others with a machete and a hammer. The bizarre scene played out in a Pulaski County neighborhood in July of 2017. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to the murder victim's family after the suspect changed his plea.
Scott Holbrook was shot and killed in July of 2017. His family says he was simply trying to protect 2 women that were being attacked with a man armed with a gun, a machete, and a hammer. Victims told us that it started very early on the morning of July 6, 2017, when Cody Hall was walking around the Braunston Trailer Park. They say that he had a machete and a hammer. Prosecutors said had the case gone to trial, jurors would have heard that drug use preceded the attack. When it was done, Wilma Highslope and Hall's sister Ashley Coots were severely injured, and Scott Holbrook had been shot multiple times and died. After more than 20 months of legal wrangling, Hall admitted to murder, assault, and wanton endangerment charges.
We said no matter how many years he got, it wouldn't be enough. But there's so many things that can happen, while he's there, and I just hope he finds Scott.
Cody Hall will likely be sentenced to a total of 23 years in prison when he's sentenced on June the 6th. That's 20 years on murder and 3 years on wanton endangerment. The 15-year sentence on the assault charges will be served concurrently. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The victim's relatives told us they did not want to go through a jury trial and see images and evidence of the crime scene. The search continues for a man wanted for murder out of Mingo County, West Virginia. We first told you about this yesterday. Investigators say 19-year-old Khalil Woods killed Roger Markham and tried to kill Randall Bowen just across the border from Belfry in Pike County. Last night we talked to Markham's sister who lives in Pike County. She told us he leaves behind 2 teenage daughters. The sheriff also says Woods also goes by the nickname Fresh, and he should be considered dangerous. There's just 1 week left for someone to claim a reward for information in connection to the disappearance of a Richmond mother. Savannah Spurlock was last seen leaving a Lexington bar on January 4th. Her family is offering $10,000 to anyone who can help police solve the case. They've handed out flyers in Garrett County and set up a website for tips. That reward, though, expires May 15th.
And we saw that sunshine and those blue skies return once again today. And if you didn't get out and enjoy it, well, you still have a little bit of time as we head into those evening hours. You'll notice those beautiful blue skies as we go ahead and take a look at Interstate 64 along Moorhead. You've seen just a few clouds throughout the day. And as we look into the Mountain Parkway, you'll notice those blue skies and just a few of those high clouds as well. We'll really see those clouds increase a little bit overnight and as we head into your Thursday. But satellite and radar, we're seeing a clean sweep. We haven't had to deal with those rain chances today, but this will be a lot different by the time we get to really this time tomorrow. Now temperatures, they're very warm outside into about those low to mid 80s across the area. So if you are going to be outside later this afternoon or into the early evening hours, definitely going to want to have that water and that sunscreen handy because that UV index is pretty high today as well. So as we head throughout the rest of the evening, we'll remain into those lower 80s, really right around dinner time, those upper 70s by the time the sun goes down. And then you see those clouds increasing by the time we get to right around midnight, temperatures dropping into those lower 70s. Showers and storms increase though as we head into your Thursday. Cold front moving into the mountains. That looks like it does sadly continue into the weekend. Good news is sunshine does return at some point. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve.
All right. Thank you, Paige. When you go to the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, you may notice a few less trees. It's part of a conservation project by staff there. But with that process comes extra steps to ensure animals remain safe. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds got a behind-the-scenes look today.
Staff at the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park have been cutting down hazardous trees throughout the park. They hope the process will help protect not only the wildlife, but visitors in the park. One of the major parts of cutting down the trees is ensuring the bat population remains unaffected. It is actually a requirement by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife to make sure no bats live in the trees before they come down.
You watch it for a half hour before sunset through an hour after sunset. And if you do not see any bats emerge from the tree during that time, it can come down the next day.
Crews are leaving the dead trees in the park after they cut them down, as they say they make great habitats for many of the wildlife that live in the park. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
The road to the Pinnacle opened back up at noon after being closed while the trees were being cut. The federal government is suing more than 24 coal companies that are owned by West Virginia Governor Jim Justice. Investigators say the companies had more than 2,000 mine, health, and safety violations since 2014. The lawsuit says none of those fines have been paid. It totals about $4.8 million. With Memorial Day right around the corner, law enforcement and highway officials are gearing up. Today, they were briefed on their Click It or Ticket campaign. During the last several years, people in Kentucky have done a better job wearing safety restraints, almost at 90%. But that still is not enough, and troopers are working to get it where it needs to be.
Your ability to survive a serious crash, either with injury or your life, greatly increases when you use your seatbelt. And no matter what people might think or how they justify it, they need to wear them. It's the law for one thing, but it does save your life, so use it.
The Click It or Ticket campaign starts May 20th and ends June 2nd. Soon, people younger than 21 will not be allowed to buy tobacco products or e-cigarettes from Walmart. Officials with the world's largest retailer says the new rules will take effect in July and will also include its Sam's Club warehouse stores. Previously, its minimum purchase age was 18, aside from a number of states where the law required a minimum purchase age of 21. A Tennessee woman's child drowned in a bathtub, and now the mother is behind bars facing 2 counts of child abuse. The Blount County Sheriff's Office arrested Bethany Carricker. They say she left her newborn baby and her 15-month-old daughter in the tub. The 15-month-old died at the hospital. The newborn remains in critical condition. A Kentucky high school student who took his anti-vaccination fight to court now has the chickenpox. We started following Jerome Kunkel's story when the senior sued Assumption Academy for keeping him and several other students out of school due to a chickenpox outbreak this year. School officials said they were just trying to slow down the outbreak. Kunkel and about 20 other students declined the vaccine, citing religious beliefs. His family says Kunkel is fine, but a little itchy. Investigators in suburban Denver are interviewing witnesses today, trying to figure out why 2 students opened fire on their fellow classmates. Police say the students opened fire on fellow students with at least 2 handguns. 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo died and 8 others were wounded. Police say a school security guard subdued 18-year-old Devin Erickson. The second suspect, a juvenile female, surrendered to police. High school student Michael Schwartz claims Erickson suggested he might do something like this.
I always thought he was just messing around and stuff, but sometimes he did hint at it here and there.
The STEM school is closed for at least the remainder of the week while investigators process the crime scene and the community comes to grips with it all. Castillo was scheduled to graduate in just a few days. Next week marks the final episode of Survivor: Edge of Extinction, and tonight we will learn which castaways will remain in the game. But the big question is, will there be a challenge for those currently on the edge of extinction? Veteran news anchor Rick Devens won his way back into the game earlier this season, and he's remained on the hot seat the past few weeks. And tonight it could be idle or bust for him. Catch tonight's episode right here on WYMT beginning at 8 o'clock. Some Girl Scouts made the perfect spring donations to an animal shelter. The Estill County Animal Shelter shared these pictures on Facebook. It said Girl Scouts Troop 7182 stopped by. They helped spruce up the shelter by planting flower beds. They even brought cleaning supplies, treats, and blankets to donate. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Wednesday afternoon. Do we have the final numbers? The Dow closed up 2 points today. Our producer forgot to tell me the final numbers in my ear. Coming up on First at 4, the royal baby makes his debut. We will take you to Windsor Castle, where Harry and Meghan are showing off their newborn son.
And a cold front will move back into the mountains and bring those soggy conditions as well. We'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes.